Okay. So, Tucker Carlson and Megyn Kelly seem to think that Tim Walz is gay. And you're probably questioning, how do they know this? Why do they think that the Democrats are keeping him in the closet when they could just, you know, accept that he is who he says he is? Because the man headed up a gay straight alliance. He was an advisor while he was a football coach. I'm pretty sure that that would be the time to have come out if he was actually gay. So let's find out what Tucker Carlson's reasoning is for why he thinks Tim Walz is gay. Former Fox host Tucker Carlson said it's so obvious that Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is gay that it actually proves that it's the Democrats who are the real homophobes because Walz doesn't feel comfortable coming out. Again, this man was the advisor to a gay straight alliance. I'm pretty sure that a man who made others feel comfortable in their sexuality would be willing to admit his sexuality. So all I can think of is, does Tucker Carlson have the hots for Tim Walz? I mean, seriously, where does this come from? So let's continue. Carlson was on Megyn Kelly's SiriusXM show where she played a clip of Walz gesticulating energetically at the end of a rally. Walz has gotten media attention for his animated presence at campaign events. I'm just gonna say, I don't know any man who behaves like that, Kelly said. Okay. So, because you don't know of any man who behaves like that, that means A, you don't know any gay men because of what's coming next, and B, just unless you happen to know every man that's ever existed, you can't say that this is gay behavior. Come on, Carlson responded, apparently frustrated at something. I don't want to be mean, and also I don't want to say things I can't prove, but let's be real. So he says he doesn't want to be mean, which calling someone gay is so childish because everyone is on their own journey. And even if Tim Walz was gay, outing him is a shitty thing to do. So that's one thing. And he says, I don't want to say things I can't prove, and then decides to say something he can't prove. That's awesome. Let me just say, not connected necessarily to Tim Walz, I'm never going to take another lecture about gay rights from these people. Like, oh, you hate gays and you keep them all in the closet or whatever, Carlson ranted as Kelly giggled. Yep, we're in high school. Any party, stop with the lectures about that stuff. Do you know what I mean? If you're so for, in general, if you're so for gay rights, then that would mean that any member of your party who's gay would feel free to say so in public and would not be pretending not to be gay. I'm just saying. Okay, first off, not everybody in your life is a Democrat. So just because you feel safe talking to Democrats doesn't mean other people will feel the same way. And what is this? You're still not telling me where you're getting the idea that he's gay. Is it because of what Megyn Kelly said? I've never met a man who acts like that. First off, gay men are men. And so, you're either saying you've never met a gay man that you know of, or you're saying that you know how all men act. Which, no, you don't. You don't know how all men act because you've never met every man ever. Carlson then said he doesn't dislike Walz for being gay. But he's mad at the falseness of his pretending to be straight. Yes, you're going to insist that a man is gay without any evidence whatsoever, even though he's shown how much he loves his family, which I'm not going to say about the kids because gay people love their kids. Not going to say that, but he loves his wife. Again, he was the advisor of a gay-straight alliance. If that doesn't make you feel comfortable enough to come out, I don't know what will. All right. Walz is married and has 2 kids with his wife. He has never said he identifies as anything under the LGBTQ plus umbrella, which doesn't mean anything because these dipshits just will say, well, he doesn't feel comfortable. Even though there is absolutely nothing in his history that would lead one to believe he isn't comfortable in his own freaking skin. The only people who aren't comfortable in their own freaking skin are bigots, because they have to demand that people act a certain way. If you're straight, if you're gay, that gay men act a certain way, gay women act a certain way, straight men act a certain way, straight women act a certain way. People are people. I do not know why this is so hard. I don't want to be mean. Carlson said, even though it seemed like he was just trying to make a gay joke while speculating about someone else's private life. And I really think that people's private lives can be private if they want them to be private. And I don't think you should have to announce everything you're into in public. I believe in privacy. I really do. But we're going to speculate on that said person's private life because we cannot accept that the person we see with our own eyes might actually, be telling us the truth about who they are. Let's just stop talking about other people's private lives, other people's sexual orientations. Let's all agree to shut up about that, okay? I would be happy with that arrangement, Carlson said, as he talks about whether Tim Walz is gay. But let's not talk about people's private lives. You've got to be kidding me. But, the Republicans have the market cornered on hypocrisy. Even though he brought up Walz's sexual orientation on the basis of nothing other than Walz waving at a crowd at a rally, Carlson insisted that it's liberals who are to blame for his rant because they just push so hard. They're the ones that get into other people's private lives, lecturing your kids about sex and stuff that should be private. Okay, sex ed has been around for decades. I'm not sure where you're getting this idea that this is being pushed on anybody. Sex ed has been around for decades. Why? Because not all kids get the information they need at home. That's just common sense. You're not going to get the information you need at home? Well, the school's got to teach it. So, nobody is lecturing kids about sex. Nobody's lecturing kids about anything. They're just letting you know that this is a thing that happens. Sex will, when I was in school, it was sex will be a part of your life. It wasn't that an elective, because I've mentioned previously on this channel that I would have been so much happier if I knew that asexuality existed when I was in school and taking sex ed. I would have been so happy to know that even though I'm still weird, I'm not that weird. So yeah. This is far from the first time that right-wing media has called Walz gay, feminine in an attempt to insult him. Because obviously, like I said, calling someone gay, that's a childish insult, as if there's anything wrong with being gay. So, and okay, so someone might be feminine. What's wrong with that? I mean, I would rather men be effeminate or feminine than bottle up their emotions until they snap and murder a bunch of people. I mean, it really isn't that hard. Fox host Jesse Waters said in August that Walz isn't masculine because of the way he waves to crowds. And I'm sure that Tim Walz is just crying in his apple cider that Jesse Waters thinks he's not masculine. Tim Walz doesn't strike me as the kind of person who gives a flying fuck what these morons think of him. Now, if these same morons were to attack his son, which some of them have, that might be different. I'm pretty sure that he would lash out at them because he's obviously a loving father. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that he's not going to cry that people think he isn't masculine because of the way he waves. I mean, I have absolutely no idea what that even means. How do you wave manly? Here's twitchy Tim on stage, waving profusely in a very unsettling manner. Very unsettling. Men should not move this way. It's not the way we move, Waters said. You know, these people are just screaming that I was forced to act a certain way. I'm repressed, so I'm going to try to repress other people. Because seriously, why are we so uptight about the way other people act? Okay, so he's very enthusiastic when he waves to crowds. He's very energetic. I fail to see how that's feminine, masculine. It's just the way he is. He's very emotional. Nothing wrong with that. And I didn't realize that Jesse Waters was the epitome of a man. Are you seriously telling me you're a prototypical man who every man acts like you? Are you kidding me? Waters then said Walz isn't attracted to his own wife because he didn't hug her correctly on stage at a rally. What's going on here? And the hug is not the way you hug your wife. You hug your wife from the body. You don't hug like this. He was in public. If you want to grope your wife while hugging her in public, fine. Not everybody does. Some people aren't into PDA. For those who don't know, that's public displays of affection. Some people just aren't into that. They just want to show their partner that they love them and that they're supportive, but they're still in public. So they have to keep things muted. You don't know how he hugs her when they're in private. You don't know because it's their private time. And nobody should know that. Earlier this month, Trump advisor Jason Miller called Walz a wildly gesticulating, effeminate caricature. Okay. Pundits have noted that masculinity has become a subtext this election, with the Republican ticket positioning itself as strong candidates who will protect women by upholding conservative gender roles. Harris has painted Republicans' anti-abortion policies as a threat to women's bodily autonomy and the right of all Americans to make personal medical decisions. And it just comes down to Republicans have this idea of how men should act, how women should act. And if there's any change, any variation in that, then they must be gay or lesbian. They couldn't possibly be good straight people because that's not how straight people act. No, that's not how behavior works. People don't think, oh, I need to behave like this because I'm straight, or I need to behave like this because I'm gay. Now, gay people might try to act straight so people won't harass them or threaten them for being gay, or that when they first realize that they're gay, they might, go full in on stereotypes because they think that that's what they're supposed to do. But the majority figure out very early on that, yeah, maybe doing that is not the best plan. Just be yourself. All right. And actually, that is probably why Trump and his ilk are getting a lot of the incel vote. Because not just because they're woman hating, it's because they have this idea of how men should be, how women should be, and how the dynamics between them should be. Just let people be people, instead of pushing them into a box where you can look at them and say, yeah, that person's gay, that person's straight. Why do you need to notice that on sight? I mean, you might have an inkling one way or the other, but let them have their journey. Let them do them. And if they happen to, if your inkling was correct and they're gay, then be supportive. If they're not, then you're just going to look like a complete idiot. Assuming that whatever stereotype you have in your head is correct. Anyway, Walz is a father, a hunter, a former military service member, and a former football coach who has steadfastly supported LGBTQ rights, reproductive and workers' rights, but many on the right define masculinity now as the opposition to women's equality, LGBTQ rights, and gun control measures. Exactly, because they have this idea of machismo or whatever the hell it is, and that's the only way to be a man. And then you have people like Tim Walz, Doug Emhoff, who are not afraid to be themselves. They don't feel like they have to pander to a stereotype to prove that they're manly men. They just happen to be dudes who are decent human beings who, in the case of Doug Emhoff, left a lucrative career as a Hollywood lawyer to support his wife in politics because he is not threatened by her. He is comfortable enough in who he is that he is willing to take the back seat for her. So, I don't know why so many men, so many people, because Megyn Kelly's a part of this, why so many people are threatened by that. Why are you threatened by a woman being successful? And I might add, I'm pretty sure Megyn Kelly is married. I have absolutely no clue whatsoever who her husband is. So for her to stand up and agree with this bullshit is kind of hypocritical of her, because you're probably more successful than your husband. Don't know that for sure, but like I said, I don't know who he is. So why are you taking the side of men should be more famous than their wives? All right. Walz, on the other hand, is now best known for his supporting role in Harris's candidacy, as well as his past advocacy for LGBTQ plus rights, including helping his school establish a gay-straight alliance in the 1990s and making Minnesota a sanctuary state for trans youth. Because again, he is comfortable enough in his own skin that he doesn't feel like he has to put on airs as to who he is. He even said when they were looking for an advisor for the Gay Straight Alliance that what better advocate than a straight, married football coach. You know, the epitome of the manly man. And he's just totally cool with the fact that gay people exist. I mean, again, how can you claim that he's in the closet when he has surrounded himself for 30 plus years around people who are okay with being themselves? Of course he wouldn't. If he was truly gay, he would have come out a long time ago. Because that is just the kind of guy he is. He is comfortable in his own skin. That's why being a vice presidential candidate to a woman doesn't scare him, because he doesn't see it as a man should, that there's something inherently wrong with the woman being the top of the ticket. He doesn't see it that way because he doesn't see women as inherently inferior. He doesn't think that men should just naturally be on top of the ticket and maybe the woman be vice president, but that in reality she should be at home making him a sandwich. That is not how he thinks. So why are conservatives so hung up on his sexuality? Because he is the last person who would be hiding his sexuality. So Tucker Carlson, Jesse Waters, either they are so scared of gay men that they have to find clues, find any cues that a person's behavior so they can avoid them, because they're going to be hit on or something. I've got news for you two dipshits. No gay person is interested in you. Why? Because they know what horrible shit comes out of your mouth. I don't think even log cabin Republicans would be interested in you. So, yeah. Obviously, it's perfectly okay to be gay. It is not okay to, number one, out somebody. And it's definitely not okay to assume someone is a certain sexuality based on the way they act. Because just because you think something is feminine or effeminate doesn't mean that even if it is by society standards, even if it is, that doesn't mean the person is gay. It just means that they're an individual. What a boring world would we live in if all straight women acted a certain way, all straight men acted a certain way, all gay men acted a certain way, all lesbians acted a certain way. That is not how life works. I mean, I get it. You want to live in a world where you can easily identify someone so you know who to who you could potentially become friends with, or maybe a romantic partner, or whom to avoid like the plague. But unfortunately, it's not that easy. That is not how social interaction works. So, yeah. I mean, this is what led so many people, and Ann Coulter even tweeted about this, was Gus, his son Gus. He got very emotional and started crying and pointing, "That's my dad." at the Democratic National Committee, at the Democratic National Committee conference. And there were so many people who were quick to point out that he's autistic. It's true. He does have a nonverbal learning disorder. Okay, fine. However, so what if he didn't? This was a man who was bubbling with pride at his father. I don't see why you have to excuse his behavior by saying he's got autism, he's neurodivergent, whatever term you want to use. Okay, yes, that could bring up some of the behaviors that he exhibited, but why should that matter? He's a kid who's proud of his dad. I don't see why the fact that he was bubbling and crying, people should excuse that behavior by saying, oh, well, it's because he's autistic. Or, just let guys be guys. And if they want to be proud of their parent, let them freaking be proud the way they want to be proud. It's that same mentality of we have to use cues, nonverbal cues, so we know who is a good person and who isn't. These are the same dipshits who are following Trump around and, saying his shit doesn't stink. Granted, Tucker Carlson and Megyn, I don't know about Megyn Kelly, but Tucker Carlson did talk behind Trump's back. That is true. He doesn't actually like Trump. But that's not the point. The point is that they are trying so hard to show that we're going to use these cues to make snap judgments about people. And yet here's this buffoon who's been indicted on 34 counts or 19 counts. Anyway, overall I think he has 34 counts. But who says horrible things come out of his mouth, and they excuse that the livelong day, but yet they twist themselves in knots at the thought that someone who happens to be male might react in a way that they don't think is manly. And so they must defend their idea of what makes a man by denouncing what they see and calling it gay, as if, number one, being a gay man is lesser than being a straight man, or that they just are so scared of gay men that they need to be on the lookout. Oh, that guy acts like he's gay, so let's just stay away from him because we might catch the gay, or he might be attracted to us. Seriously, just stop. Let people be people and try to get to know people. And if you don't like what comes out of their mouth, you can just extricate yourself from that situation. I do not know why this is such a thing. Anyway, that is all I have for this video. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.